So okay, welcome back guys. This is an introduction to ethical hacking by Frey JST, and in this video we are going to just discuss about some terms in cybersecurity. I know this will be a very boring video because you don't want to see and just listen to me about this stuff, but please do listen because it's kind of important if you are just jumping in this field in cybersecurity and in ethical hacking, of course. So, well, basically, people have a wrong idea about hacking, man. When you can see, like, anyone say, like, what you do, and it's kind of important. Like, hacking is not just like breaking some security and those little things. It's kind of like exploring the security and exploring those applications, those websites, and just finding some loopholes. I will talk about hacking and all the stuff, but first just understand like what's the difference between hacking and ethical hacking. So as you can see, like in this word, there's hacking in here. Like hacking is the same, and yeah, these both guys are same. If you can see, like hacker and ethical hacker, they are just kind of like same. But when they end up like hacking, but in an ethical way, like in a line, like what you can call that, like in their boundaries. Like if you have some boundaries like which you can't able to cross, and you have some permission to just go and just pen test in that one, so that's what you can call the ethical hacking. Now in this video we are just gonna discuss about some terms like vulnerabilities, exploit, and then defensive strategy, then pen testing types, then methodology, and then vulnerabilities management, like how you can just management after just finding those vulnerabilities and all. And then in last we are just gonna discuss about my favorite one, like 0-day. And why is my like why I love that 0 days so much, you will just know that in last. So the thing about hacking is like exploiting various security breaches. This is what I think like hacking is. I don't know like what Wikipedia say about that. Like a security hacker is someone who explores methods for breaching defenses and exploiting weakness. Now this is the same I have said, like hacking is exploring various security breaches, so you can just take that in mind. And hacking is not a skill, not for me. Like people see like, okay, learn hacking and this all. I think hacking is art. You have seen that meme like that, like anime is not a cartoon. It's not a cartoon. It's a form of art. That's same thing. Like it's not a programming. It's not a code. It's a form of art. So okay, like suppose like everyone write codes. Like everyone write codes nowadays. Everyone is programmer. But what make programming art is what we call hacking. You can just modify whatever you want. Like if you don't like this type of environment, you don't like how your code works, you don't like how this UI or how this programming is working, this is so slow, or this type of stuff, then you can just change the code and modify that according to you. So I think that's what hacking can be called as an art. Now those about those criminals, like in India, I don't know about you in your country, but in India, if you can say like hacking, people thinks like directly they jump into the conclusion, and to be serious, they see you like a hacker, like a criminal, because they will see, okay, you do hacking, or you are a criminal. They don't think like it's an art, or it's been like exploring in like various breaches, and there's all they don't think like that. They will just give you a tag that you are a criminal, and that happens to me a lot. And so put that ethical word if you are living in India and say like I'm an ethical hacker and that's all. Okay, so now what is ethical hacking? It's like testing the resources for a good cause in IT field. For suppose you are an ethical hacker and I'm making a software, and I give you my software, and in a bunch of window in a time you will just go and just pen test on that and find some vulnerabilities, some holes and some security holes, and make a report of that and give it back to me and tell me, sir, like this is how you can like patch that hole, and that's all. So that's your work. That's what are you doing. You are not like, okay, going and just hacking into someone's social media account. Hackers don't do that. And now, okay, now back to the terms, like what is vulnerabilities. So to be like put it in a simple way, it's like weak links in software and setting. If not fixed, then it can cause a very great damage. And exploit code is written to exploit this weakness. Like this exploit are written, it's maybe like a script, a bunch of programs, or sometimes it will be a software. So it has been written to just find these vulnerabilities in the system. And about this, like what is exploit? Now you will ask me like, Frey, what the heck is this? Like it's a piece of software that take advantage of bugs, glitches, and this, yeah, of course, vulnerabilities. And it's maybe like always, like not always, it's maybe like cause denial of services and steal some sensitive information. And sometimes some exploits like delete your data permanently and cause like a lot of damage. Trust me. And there is always a question in your mind, and maybe that's a like a evergreen question. Like, is programming necessary for being a hacker? Like, is really necessary for being a hacker? You have to code, and the answer is simply nah. You don't want to be a programmer for being a hacker, because I've seen like there are a bunch of tools. I've seen like many people using Kali Linux, and they know how to use that tool and just go and just recklessly use those tools. They don't even know any programming language, they don't know anything, but they are still like going and hacking and like running those scripts by those tools. It's not hard to learn those tools because they are just made in that way, so anyone can use them. So that's why I think like it's not necessary to be a programmer to be a hacker. Now, but in my case, if you want to be like a good programmer, first learn like three languages. Like you must be good at like C programming. So the main reason for C programming is that you will understand like how computer works. And second one is Python, so you can be fast and write your own script. And third one is not so necessary, but like go for it a little bit. It's an assembly language if you really want to be on a deep level of how computer works and how they are oriented. So just go with these three languages, and that's all. Then you will know how these machines work and how they communicate with other parts and those or thing, like internally how registers and like how CPU is working. That's all. That's how like assembly came to play. Okay, now there's one thing else I should add about exploit. So like if anybody asks you like what is exploit, you can just give a definition or that, although you don't have to just give a definition about this, because I just remember something. You have known a bunch of hackers, the famous hackers and those all things, and you can be like, okay, this guy has just hacked that's NASA, Pentagon and all those things. But I think those are not dangerous hackers, because I think the most dangerous hacker in this world is who's anonymous, who we don't know. Maybe it's a guy who's working in a pizza shop, maybe he's a delivery boy in Zomato. We don't even know like who that hacker is. And I think like those hackers are so much dangerous, because we don't even know. They are just anonymous, and they don't allow to share their stuff, they don't upload anything. So yeah, these guys are the best, although they are so smart. They knows everything. Now about that, like I was telling, like what exploit is. So exploit can damage or change the behavior of machine. Sometimes it's like a computer, like sometimes, but machine too. Because I was watching a 0 day documentary, and in which they have just target that Iran nuclear system. So let's just take it as a machine. Now inserting the malicious code, like changing data and take control, is what exploit do. So that's all about exploit. Now the reason, or like a question in your mind, is that like how the hell exploit came to play. So it must be like a remotely access from someone just put in your machine from nmaps, and like if your ports are open, then they will try to just put exploit in your machine. Or sometimes user redirected to third-party application or servers, often seen on social media, those phishing links you have seen. If you don't know about phishing, we will just go in some another video about that. Now I just have some like exploit classification. So these are like 3 exploit classification, like unauthorized data access, which is so common, and then arbitrary code, and the last one, which is most often seen. And if you have watched that Mr. Robot series, in episode 1 there's also you can see that denial of services. I also recommend this that series for gaining super access. And of course that's what exploits are for gaining super access, the sudo. If you run Linux, you already know like the sudo mode. And now my favorite part, which I have discussed earlier, like 0-day exploit. And this is so cool. Like these are some kind of exploits which are not patched, like exploit which has been published but which has not been published, and is known as just 0-day exploits. Now there is one more term I want to add in this video, which is like naive hackers and those baby hackers, which we call script kiddies. These are some hackers who just use other hacker scripts to just hack. These guys are so naive, like they can't able to code. These are just babies hackers, or you can say noob hackers. So they just use like other people scripts. Now CI tried this is also a term which you can just see in ethical hacking, which is like CIA means like confidentiality, integrity and availability. So just go with this term, and this must be like seen in a vulnerabilities and exploit. But I don't know, like I just like learned this term for when I was just learning ethical hacking. That's all. Like, and there's also one more term, if I remember correctly, which is called attack surface, which is just a surface on attacking on the system. And now I'll just go to like vulnerability management. I also have a management subject in my BTech, but now I think I can relate that, because vulnerability management is just scanning, classification and taking identical steps, like how to stop this type of hacking and all those exploit stuff, so that they can just manage. Now about my 0-day, let me just go and just search about that. Okay, if you can see, like this 0 day is 0 day is a computer software vulnerability either unknown to those who should be interested in the migration, or known as without a patch to correct. So why I'm taking this 0 day so seriously is because like exploit which is not known is known as 0 day exploit, and an attack by an unknown exploit is known as, of course, like 0 day attack. Makes sense, right? Because it's an attack from that script which is unknown, which that unknown exploit. So in most cases, like when you have seen, like those guys have seen 0 day, is why it's called a 0 day, like that will be a question. Is because the developers literally have zero time to make a patch of it, but when the whole team came together and make a patch of it, it will not a 0 day, it will not call a 0 day, it will be just a exploit which has been patched. But in case if it doesn't patched, or that it may cause a cyber warfare, which is another term and which is so much dangerous, like and in future you can be see some cyber warfare, I'm sure of it. Like people are not gonna fight with some missiles and all, they will fight from their computers. That's the future. Now about this 0 day, when those developers or those ethical hackers find this 0 day exploit, they will first inform that to the company and also to the government, because of that reason, because this can cause a cyber warfare. So thank you, that's all about this video. And another video we will just talk about vulnerabilities and other terms. Yeah, we will still like talk about some terms. Okay, we will also do some practicals about that. So yeah, thank you and have a nice day and whatever.